Hello and welcome to Namibia. Now I'm here to test the new Toyota Land Cruiser. You can probably see it behind me there. I'm going to be driving it over the next 3 days in a variety of conditions. So on sand, on rock, on road. It's going to be pretty epic. So I hope you enjoy the ride.
The Toyota Land Cruiser has an off-road heritage spanning 65 years. And over the next few days, I'll be going on an epic adventure to find out exactly why it's so popular.
This time yesterday, I was stuck in traffic on the North Circular in London. Today, I'm smashing across the sand in Namibia. I mean, look at this, look at this! Look at that view! That is spectacular. Going up a berm now, way! My gosh! Oh, the guy in front's bailed. Oh no, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. And he is in trouble. Never stop when you're on sand. Got to keep the momentum up, like here. Bit of power, 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 yes! You wouldn't want to be driving over this if you got piles.
And Toyota literally sells piles of Land Cruisers. It's the market leader in 10 European countries thanks to its legendary toughness. This is one car that can take you to the most interesting of places.
So we've come to a little stop off, having driven the Land Cruisers for a bit. And you might hear this weird noise. Well, the reason is that we've come to a seal colony. Yeah, look. It's just a load of big, stinky, ass fighty seals. Apparently, you shouldn't get too close to them because they will bite. Doesn't really have much to do with the Toyota Land Cruiser, but it does show you that the Toyota Land Cruiser can get you anywhere. It can get you to a seal colony.
This current generation Land Cruiser has been around since 2009, but it's just had a major overhaul with the addition of improved off-road electronics, including a sort of low-speed cruise control.
Right, so I'm going to put the car into low range mode now because we're going uphill. So I'm going to lift up the air suspension. Now I'm going to put the car into crawl mode, so it'll effectively just drive it up this slope for me. And I can control the speed of it by just turning a dial. The car does it all. Really, this is child's play for this Land Cruiser, I'm pretty sure.
What's also easy is spotting the latest revisions to the car's look.
So this Land Cruiser may not be all new, but there are significant design changes to the exterior. The one you can probably notice most is this. Look at this big scoop out of the bonnet. Now that helps with forward visibility, and believe me, from behind the wheel, you notice it. But the grille, still very classic Land Cruiser, vertical slats. It's got that kind of presence, hasn't it? Now the ducting on this car is positioned so that, like, when you're wading, you can get up to a depth of 70 centimetres without having to worry about sucking water into the engine or damaging the electricals. Speaking of electricals, the light clusters, they're new. So you can get full LED headlights now on this car, and the main bulbs are positioned inwards so that if you're going off-road, you hit a branch, you don't wipe out your lights. Down the sides, you can get 17-inch alloy wheels or 19s if you want to look a little bit more kind of street. Now the actual ground clearance on this car is almost 22 centimetres, which is pretty high, and you can get it with air suspension, and you can jack that up further if you want to. Now the back's very similar to before, but well, you can hardly see them because they're covered in sand from the desert. The light clusters are different, but you've still got that classic look, Land Cruiser style tailgate. Now in the city, this is not quite so practical when you're parked in a very tight parking spot, but when you're out in the outback, it's really useful. And yeah, as you can see, we are in Namibia. That's probably not been very good writing that for the paintwork, but oh well.
And that's the thing with the Land Cruiser, it's designed to be able to take abuse, not just look good on the school run. And if you think big SUVs are rather dull to drive, in the right, or should that be wrong conditions, they can be a total laugh.
So this is quite a lot of fun, just blasting this car over this rough road. You know, you've got hidden dips like this one coming up here, you have to watch out for. And you can thrash it about quite, but you know this car's tough. You know it can take it. And I've got a 2.8 litre, 4-cylinder diesel engine. Yeah, it's got 177 horsepower, which doesn't sound like a lot really, and 0 to 60 takes around 12 seconds. But it's not about that, it's all about the low down pulling power. So you've got 450 Newton meters of torque, from around 1600 RPM. So when you put your foot down, it does just haul this big thing along. It's like rallying. You know, this is what 4x4s are for, you know. People drive them around Kensington, Chelsea and all that, and they never feel the benefit. You know, this is one of the old school off-roaders as well. It's still built on a ladder frame chassis. So you got your body on top and the strong chassis beneath it. And that just makes it better for off-roading. Not so good for on-road though.
And that's the thing, you pick your tools for the job. If you're just going to be on smooth tarmac the whole time, a BMW X5, Audi Q7 or Volvo XC90 are all a better drive. But if you need a car which is comfy enough to live with, yet can take you into the bush and get you back again without a hitch, I'd rather put my life in the hands of the Toyota Land Cruiser. Put it this way, probably 9 out of every 10 4x4s I saw in Namibia were a Toyota.
The suspension at the front is fully independent, wishbone suspension. At the back, I've got air suspension on this one. It still has a rigid axle, very, very old-fashioned and archaic, but it's tough and it works. And this car actually has pretty good chassis articulation, and that means that it can move its wheels through quite a range of motion. Now, it's got anti-roll bars, but when you're off-roading, the car knows and it decouples the anti-roll bars so the wheels across an axle can move independently, so they're not like held together. And that does mean that it can like walk its way over rocks better than if it had fixed anti-roll bars. Now this thing has an approach angle of 31 degrees, and that means it can approach a slope that's 31 degrees. It can leave a slope, the departure angle, of one that's 25 degrees. Whoa! Also, it's got a breakover angle, so it can crest a hill of 22 degrees without bottoming out. The other thing to think about is the gradient that your car can go up. So this thing can scale a gradient of 42 degrees, which is pretty blooming steep. Also, it can drive on a bank of 42 degrees as well without toppling over. So this is getting more extreme now. Really careful not to catch the sides of the car on these rocks because they're so jaggedy. I've actually got a device that I can press a camera and look and see exactly where the sides of the car are and where the front wheels are. So you can actually walk it using the camera on the screen over the rocks.
Ahead was a big sand dune I needed to scale, which posed a very real risk of getting stuck. So a minor adjustment to the car was required.
Now, just before we go in the sand, this chap is actually lowering the tyre pressures from 3 bar to 2 bar. So the tyre is actually softer and it allows it to grip onto the sand better than if it was harder. It gives it a greater contact patch in the sand, which is really, really loose and very fine. So there's a real possibility that we might get stuck.
However, the tyre trick would count for nothing if I didn't use the appropriate off-road driving style.
Right, so the trick with this, because we're getting up a steep, sandy slope where it's very deep, is to just hoon it and keep the momentum going and don't let the car bog, because if it bogs, you're done. Come on, car. I know there's a bit that's quite deep round here. Hopefully the car should just follow the tracks round and keep it going. Keep the power on, keep the power on, keep the power on, keep the power on. Keep it on! Whoa, whoa, whoa! Whoa! Gotta keep it on! Gotta keep the power on! Oh my God, this is mental! Oh! Wow! It's the trick though, you cannot stop! That was a lot of fun.
But let's not get too carried away. You see, the Land Cruiser may now start from £33,000 with the entry-level utility grade, but in the UK, buyers want luxury, and the range-topping Invincible version I'm driving costs from £52,000. So, does it feel worth that inside?
Right then, let's have a look around the inside of this new Toyota Land Cruiser. So this is the range-topping Invincible version, so it has all the bells and whistles. This is Toyota's Touch 2 infotainment screen, so you've got your media, you've got car stuff, your setup. This one's in probably Ukrainian or Russian or something. Down here you've got your controls for the four-wheel drive system. Because of the range top, you get all these different terrain settings, the crawl button, your diff lock, although all models have a diff lock. Got a multifunction steering wheel there. Leather seats as standard. Now the interesting thing to note is that this is designed to be a luxurious vehicle. Go anywhere, luxurious vehicle. But the quality, it just doesn't feel as posh as something like a Land Rover Discovery. Here's the back seats. Very roomy, as you can see. Now you can get this a 5-seater, a 5 or 7-seater. The range toppers all come with 7 seats, and I'll show you the 7 seats working now, hopefully. If I press this button here, we will get the seat pop up in the back. I love the way the base comes out, it's pretty cool. And there you go, that's the seat in place. I'll just pop that back. And I will check out the room here in the back. Well, there's plenty of room in the middle row. So let's check out the very back. You can probably see that I can just about fit in here. It's not the most comfortable place, but look, I have just about enough room. So there you go.
Anyway, I got back into the front seat and continued with the journey. But first, I had to set the car up to scale a slope. Once again, the new off-road technology helping make the job as easy as possible.
But the car's suspension raised, I've got it in low ratio mode, I've even got the diff locked. Should be good to go. So I'm going to get the momentum up to get up this sandy bit. Well, yep. And then what I'm going to do is cheat a little bit, put the car into crawl mode and let it just crawl under its own steam up this slope. So I can just control the speed by this dial. I've got 5 different speeds and it'll just do all the work for me. Obviously I have to steer, but bearing in mind there's a bit of a track anyway, the car will probably follow the ruts. So I don't have to do anything. I think off-roading's a lot easier than it used to be.
There are some other cool off-road features, like surround cameras, which really let you place the wheels exactly where you want them, and various off-road modes to deal with a variety of conditions, such as a muddy riverbed.
So this is a particularly tricky bit we've got to do. There's a big hole there, we need to suddenly cut across, keep the power on, and it's going to bounce. Oh, blimey! Gosh! Oh!
Thing is, the Toyota never came unstuck. And what's even more amazing is that this very car had already done this trip twice with another bunch of journalists and would have to do it once more time after I'd left. And that's a real testament to its durability.
Okay then, we've come to the end of the journey. So we've done 600 kilometres in 2 days, most of it on extreme rough terrain. I'm really, really impressed with how a Toyota Land Cruiser can stand up to some real hard driving. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it and subscribe to our channel and click on the video windows for more videos.